Let the same mind be in you that was also in Christ Jesus. May the same disposition, may the same attitude. The Aramaic Bible says, reason in your soul this. I want to talk to you about Christ consciousness. What is Christ consciousness? If I've been promised that the same mind that was in Christ Jesus can also be in me, what would that look like? What kind of minds or what kind of consciousness can be on their way to a religious, prestigious church leader's home, and the situation is dire, and yet have the space in its mind to be able to be touched by another person? What kind of consciousness can be in a chaotic, thunderous, stormy situation and rest in the midst of it? What kind of consciousness can be betrayed and hurt by a friend, by someone who you've poured your life into, and just allow it to happen? What kind of consciousness could be mocked and beaten and stripped and despise the shame, but endure it? And what kind of mind does it take for your body to be close to death and in excruciating pain, but through it all be able to look and see the people and see right through them, and still be able inside to say, forgive them, they don't know what they're doing? What kind of consciousness does that take? That same power that was in Christ Jesus, that same mind has been promised to us. Paul wrote in Ephesians, I pray that the eyes of your heart may be enlightened, that the eyes of your understanding may be enlightened, that the heart and the mind, that the dark places inside of us may be illuminated and brought into the light so they can be transformed. That you might see your own fragility, that you might see your neediness, and yet also understand the power that's available to you through the Spirit. Empathy is not a formula to be administered in a time of crisis or pain. Empathy is a human experience that draws us towards each other. It exposes our shared humanness. It's the ability to connect with another human being and feel what they are feeling in that moment. Empathy is the ability to grow in the values of, say, adulthood, to be able to be mutual with someone else, to be able to sit beside someone and not only across from someone. I've recently just adopted a practice with even just my email. When someone sends me an email and maybe it gets me a little riled up, I wait until I can sit beside that person, meaning I wait until I'm done fighting. I wait until I don't want to justify or feel like I have to fight that person, and when I can sit beside them and not want to sit across from them and scold them, that's when I'll finally send the email. Adulthood, growing up, being able to be mutual, being able to integrate the good and bad of life, being able to appropriately deal with the good in others and the bad in others and in ourselves. To have room to grow, to give yourself room to grow, to give other people room to grow, and to not go all bad on someone's behavior, to not go on all bad on someone's personhood because of their behavior, but to be able to appropriately deal with good and bad. It's the ability to bond. It's the ability to allow yourself to be soft enough, to allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to let someone in. Empathy takes all those things. So what keeps us from living that way? What keeps us from walking beside our brothers and sisters? I'm absolutely convinced that you cannot talk about empathy unless you talk about our fears. When I was a young leader in my 20s, I was leading a program for girls in the town that I lived. And I had 3 conflicts that happened right in a row, and it was close enough together that I was able to take them and see that there was a pattern that was happening. I had had a conflict with a mother, I'd had a conflict with a counselor, I'd had a conflict with a staff member related to the program I was running, and I called my friend one night and said, help me, like, what is going on with these situations? I want to do better at this. And the thing was, I left every situation feeling exactly the same. I felt like I was right and they were crazy. And I felt like I didn't like the way I handled myself. I saw myself fighting. I saw myself raising my voice, losing my cool. I saw myself in a way that I wasn't pleased with, and it made me sick. I wanted to do better. And you know what my friend said to me? She said, Emily, we cannot talk about how to handle these situations better unless we talk about your fears. You see, I grew up in a big family. I am one of 6 kids, and in my family, I was the kid that didn't get in trouble. I was the kid that didn't create conflict. I was compliant, and I did the right thing. That was my identity. And in these conflicts, these behaviors that were underneath, that were built on these belief systems and these foundations, were burping out. So I was afraid of being wrong. I was afraid of being in trouble. I was afraid of doing the wrong thing. And so I would fight. Fear is an all-consuming emotion. Fear is an emotion that sends us to that part of our brain that perceives a threat or danger. And then it prepares us for action, right? It prepares us to either fight or flight, run away, or freeze. And I'm obviously a fighter. And so in these fearful situations, sometimes it's a person standing right in front of us. And what happens when we cannot see the person in front of us, but we see a threat? I was fighting the parent, I was fighting the staff member, I was fighting the counselor because I had a deep-seated fear that I couldn't be wrong. And I wanted to blame everyone else. I didn't want to take responsibility on myself. I didn't want to be blamed. I didn't want to appear like I had done something wrong. I wanted to make the right decision. I was young. I was preserving my reputation. I felt like I needed to protect my competency, that I had to keep control of the program and my authority over the program. And I had several people try to coach me through how I could have handled the situation differently and how I could have seen, the other person and what they're feeling and empathize with them in that moment. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't see it because I couldn't get past my own fear. And it took me several years and a lot more failures to be able to see this part of myself clearly, so that I could then maybe make some changes. I love the message paraphrase, the Message paraphrase of Philippians 2. It says this: think of yourself the way Christ Jesus thought of himself. He had equal status with God, but didn't think so much of himself that he had to cling to the advantages of his status no matter what. Not at all. When the time came, he set aside the privilege of deity and took on the status of a slave. And he became human. And having become human, he stayed human. It was an incredibly humbling experience. I love this paraphrase because I like the word cling. He did not cling to the advantages of his status nor the privileges that he had as deity. He set them aside. We cannot talk about empathy unless we talk about our fears and the things that we are clinging to, that we're holding on to for dear life. Until we're ready to empty ourselves, until we're ready to release our grasp, there's no room for anyone else. There's no room for anyone when you're hanging on the side of a cliff holding on for dear life. When you're just trying to preserve your life. I want to leave you with one more thought. The internal work, the hard work of exposing the things in our souls that keeps us in our fear is so vitally important, because the requirement to follow Jesus is that we would love our neighbor as ourselves, and that we would love the Lord with all our heart, all our soul, all our mind, and all our strength. Your ability, my ability to love my neighbor is directly connected to my ability to love myself. Your ability to give grace to your brother is directly connected to how gracious you can be to yourself. Your ability to give mercy to someone else is completely dependent on your ability to give mercy to yourself. Our ability to empathize with others starts with being able to feel ourselves. If you do not know what you are feeling, if you do not allow others to see what you are feeling, if you don't allow others to see your emotions, if you stuff your emotions down, if you drown them out, if you work and stuff them under work and busyness, if you eat them away or numb them away, how can I ever feel what you are feeling if I don't know what I am feeling? How can I enter into your pain if I don't know how to process my pain? Our relationship with ourselves is the one we bring into every single relationship, every single meeting room, everywhere we go. The relationship we have with ourselves comes with us. Until we are willing to look at the things that are underneath, until we're willing to allow those places in our hearts to be enlightened, being more like Jesus will be just a lofty goal and a nice thing to say. The same mind that was in Christ Jesus is available to us. If we're willing to dive deep with the Spirit and allow Him to reveal all the places where we're trying to save our life, all the places that are holding us captive in fear, the places where we're clinging to our status or our rights, the power of Christ, Christ consciousness, the mind of Christ can be ours. Embracing our humanness is an incredibly humbling experience and an incredibly freeing experience. Empathy is part of the experience of being human. Loving our neighbor as ourselves starts with you. It starts with me. Your willingness to do the internal work so that the same mind that is in Christ Jesus may also be in you.